What's going on, world? It's your boy Glenn Lawrence. I am back with another episode of the BlerdDad Podcast, a space where we like to have unfiltered conversations and nerd out about fatherhood or parenthood in general. You know, we don't discriminate. Uh, yeah, man, it's cool. I say unfiltered conversations, and that does not mean unprepared conversations. And I only bring this up because I have been watching on social media recently, and I saw an interview with Kevin Hart and Funny Marco. And I will tell you, I'm getting a little bit annoyed because I prepare. I prepare for what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I get a little background on what people are doing, on their topics, you know, on what they have done, what they have accomplished. And then I use that and I bring that to the interview and I ask good questions and I try to follow up questions and have a fun conversation that's free flowing between it. And then other people have these, there's the Bobby chick and then Funny Marco, and they do these interviews where it's like kind of aloof and unprepared. And I'm not hating. Don't take this as hate. Do what you do. I understand it. I like it. I laugh at it. I watch the entire thing and it's very funny. All I'm trying to say is, Kevin Hart, can you come on the BlerdDad podcast? Because I will be prepared. I will not piss you off, and I'll be prepared to have a great conversation and talk about something that I know that you love, fatherhood, as well as comedy. So that's just me throwing it out there. I didn't mean to throw any hate at the beginning of it because I love what they're doing. I'm just saying that over here at the BlerdDad podcast, we come prepared. You know what I'm saying? So that's my shout out to Kevin or whoever else, you know what I mean, wants to be on there, talk about fatherhood, talk about some fun things. Please come on the BlerdDad podcast. We will have a great old time. You know who can attest to how good of a time we'll have? Our sponsors. Our sponsors know that we have a good time over here at the BlerdDad podcast, and they can't wait to help you have a good time with your pet. You know what? Our sponsors are They Made Me Wear It. They Made Me Wear .it. That dot always messes me up, but it won't mess you up. I'm telling you. You go to They Made Me Wear .it, and your pet will get laced up in the latest fashions. It is a husband and wife team, and they are on a mission to get your pet laced up in the latest fashions. I'm telling you, they got it all. They got Halloween costumes, they got designer gowns, comfy jammies, anything that your pet needs. I didn't think pets needed that much comfort, but They Made Me Wear .it comes through and make sure that they are laced. I don't know why you're waiting. Here's one thing that'll help you out. If you go to They Made Me Wear .it, a little bit of your purchase will go towards Hope for Paws. I wish I had like a clapping, you know, like hallelujah, applause, because that's amazing. Hope for Paws, they help get these animals off the mean streets and they put them in nice homes so that they can get off the streets. The homelessness epidemic of these animals, it's something that's been raging recently, but Hope for Paws make sure that the animals get taken care of. So if you go to They Made Me Wear .it, some of what you purchase there or some of the money that you use to purchase things there will go to Hope for Paws, and you'll get these animals off the mean streets, man. I'm telling you, it's all win. And cherry on top, use code word blurred and you get 15% off at checkout. I don't know what you're waiting for. You should have already been on They Made Me Wear .it. Halloween has passed, but Thanksgiving is coming up. And if you need a pilgrim outfit for your puppy, who else are you going to call? Who else are you going to go to? I don't know anybody else. They're it. That's why it's They Made Me Wear .it. Anyways, They Made Me Wear .it. That's They Made Me Wear .it. Code word blurred for 15% off at checkout. All right, now all my pitching is done. The bills are paid. Sponsors are happy. Now I got to get to our guest, who is the amazing, the awesome Earl Piner Jr. He is the owner and founder of Prep Basketball Training. It's out in Leesburg, Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. He played D1 basketball. He's an amazing basketball player. We've played together. And after that, he continued his love for basketball by coaching others. He's trained scores of athletes, many of whom have gone on to play on their high school teams, on their college teams. I'm excited to really talk to him. Got to let you know, at Prep, they focus on preparing players physically, mentally, emotionally for the grind of moving on. And they're programs are designed to help complement your child's individual one-on-one training with interactive and competitive training in group environments. They do amazing things, and he's also a good friend of mine. I spent some holidays with him and the family, and I can't wait to get into it and talk to him a little bit here on the podcast. So let me welcome to the stage my boy Earl. What's happening?
What's happening, Glenn? What's happening, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't wait to talk to you, man. You know why? Because I had to hang up my shoes. I feel like I've gotten older, and I had to hang up the sneaks. You know, when you see the sneaks on the power lines, I feel like one of those pairs is mine because I gotten older and I can't quite do it the way that I used to do it. And more than anything else, I'm afraid of blowing something. I'm afraid because I haven't been keeping myself up, so I'm afraid of blowing something out. You know, Achilles are big in the 40s.
Right. Well, you know, what's the one thing I'm gonna tell you though, you're missing out, man. You're not gonna be to experience what they call. You remember what they call, you know, that old guy in the gym that was like, man, I got that old man game, that old man strength. You might want to reconsider, man, because it's a real thing, man. I don't know the actual age when that kicks in, but hey, you might want to think about bringing them out just to experience that. That's the way you can tell your kids one day, man. You know, that old man strength. I got it. Don't forget it. Something to think about. Something to think about.
I'm coming into my old man strength era, bro. I am coming into my old man strength era. Here's the thing, though. I have recently gotten back into working out. So before I would have to ramp myself up to working out and getting back into the gym because I don't want to embarrass myself. So I'm at that point right now where I'm like, all right, let me get back on the bike. Let me do some weights at home so nobody sees my early struggles. And then I could go into the gym and, you know what I mean? I'm in like there's a level of struggle that you can be at the gym where people are like, yeah, go for it, man. Like you're going to make, but the level of struggle that I'm usually at is people are just like, oh, why you let yourself go like that? So I'm at the ramping up stage.
Nah, fortunately, we're you know, in my industry, man, I got to stay relevant, right? So it's hard to be that guy trying to teach and train and you know, be interactive and not be able to do it, man, because it's tough. So I'm kind of forced to stay active, stay relevant. So
it's good. How's your game, man? Are you still got the stroke? You still got the handles? You still got the whole game all together?
Yeah, I'll be honest. You know, again, I think I was just talking to somebody. It's funny and it might sound weird, but I'm better now than I was 10 years ago. Again, part of that is just, you know, experience, you know, strength, you know, some of that old man game seeping in. I think that, you know, it's a different level, right? I'm not playing above the rim like I was, but, you know, the stroke's still there for sure. I think the biggest difference, and you hear this in all, you know, when they talk about father times undefeated, is just the recovery. You know, it's like, I'm gonna go out and give it to you on the court, but I'm gonna pay for it in the morning. You know, that's the biggest difference right now. So it's still there, but again, I pick and choose when to bring it out because I know the after effects, man.
You know, I think the other thing that probably has helped your game is when you're coaching, because when you're teaching people, you know, you start understanding why you're doing things, and then there's a why to it. A lot of times when you're younger, you kind of free flow and do your thing. You're relying on the athleticism and whatnot. But once you start coaching, you start teaching kids not to rely on the athleticism. You're teaching them about their footwork, and that makes you think about your footwork, and you're like, hold on, if I'm teaching, like, I need to do. I remember that when I was coaching, I started being a better player when I was coaching. I was coaching in CLBL, like the little intramural. We're talking about basketball, by the way, if I didn't make that clear. I think I did make it clear, but when I started coaching, I noticed it made me better because I started going through the drills that I wanted the kids to go through. Two, I started paying attention to the little things, the little nuances. And it also helps you figure out how to be a better teammate. Because when you're coaching, you got to know where everybody is and what everybody's doing. So when you're playing, it makes it easier. Like, okay, I can see where everybody's, you know, going and whatnot. So that might also be like a little added benefit. Do you see that?
No, for sure. I mean, like you said, I mean, I'm a big integrity guy and practicing what I preach. And, you know, again, in this world of training and, you know, you get a lot of gimmicky stuff out there. You get a lot of guys who really don't have a clue in a sense. And so, you know, I don't want to ever be, you know, put into that pot in a sense. So yeah, it's a lot of preparation that goes into it. A lot of, like I said, just, I've seen myself go out there and try to, show a drill and I'm fumbling and, of course I can flip it and say, hey, that's why we got to be willing to make mistakes and get it, but at the end of the day, it's like, again, just like in a gym or wherever, if somebody's training you and you get a sense whether they really know what they're talking about or again, it's a facade. So just trying to stay, to the point of my credibility up, and influence, the people I'm working with.
No, you're legit, man. Listen, if you're listening to this right now, Earl's legit. I play with him. I've been on the court with him. He's a bucket. He's a bucket and a half, man. He's out there getting it. But when I was coaching back in the day, I don't know, I'm just relating to you. I haven't done. Here's the thing. All right, sorry, I keep bouncing from thing to thing. But when I was coaching, right, I realized one thing. Like once you become a coach, just like almost like always a thing. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a fraternity almost. Once you coach, people are like, coach, it's a title that you earn. And I took it super seriously when I was doing it. And I know exactly what you're talking about, where there's other coaches where you're like, what, not disparaging anybody, but it's like, yo, are you doing this for yourself? Or are you doing this for the kids? And when I was doing it, I always wanted to do it for the kids. And there were some very cool things that I came up with in my short time as coaching that I thought were dope. One of which is like homework. I would give them a little pamphlet, and these are young kids, so I'm not trying to be like, all right, we're going to the NBA, but I just wanted to instill in them, listen, you can come to practice and you could go as hard as you want in practice, but if you really want to get good at this game and you really want to be great, you got to do things outside of practice. So I would say outside of practice, you have to do 5 things during the week. You could do them all in one extra day, or you can do them one per day, but you got to do like 20 push-ups, 100 free throws, just like basic, because they're young. I didn't want to overload them, but I made it very, very easy. And I gave them a little book. And then at the beginning of practice, I'm like, all right, where's your homework? Let me check it. And it was crazy to me because I thought the kids are going to be like, man, get out of here. But they got excited. And then they would check me when I didn't check their homework. They would be like, yo, like, coach, like, are you not checking the homework? Like what? Like what?
Right. Nah, again, kids want that structure, man. Not just in basketball. I know we'll get into some of the other stuff, but yeah, I mean, it is. You're like you just said, you're showing that it's not just I'm checking a box of I'm coaching this game for the week. It's like you said, you're preparing, you're being thoughtful. How can you make them better? And like you said, some grasp more towards it. Some, I'm sure you had a few that maybe just said they did it, and and you get the idea who's really putting in the work over time. But the fact that you gave them that platform is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So talking about kids who going through the motions, what's it like coaching your own kids? Because I know that is that's probably a whole episode unto itself, like how to get the most out of your kids, because it's something that for some reason, I guess it's just you're in the house and you're giving them regular discipline that it sometimes is harder to get them to do something, even if it like is for their benefit. Have you noticed a challenge in coaching your own kids? Or
yeah, for sure. I mean, again, I'm in the thick of that. So got 3 kids, right? 13, 9, and 7. All of them active. My youngest is just kind of getting in. He played like a year of baseball way back. I think he was at 5 at the time. He played his first year of rec basketball last year, and then my daughter 9, she's obviously she's a hooper, and and she's playing, and then my oldest is in middle school, 8th grade. So again, different phases, different personalities. So it's like I'm me trying to coach, but then I also got to realize once my oldest is he's got potential.
Yeah,
he's got the ability. It's just more of that lack of consistency and really putting in that work. And it's so from you take me in that perspective, it's like I'm trying to push him without pushing him. I've kind of gone in that one phase of pushing him, to the point of am I going to turn it into him not liking it and not wanting to pursue it. To trying to step back a little bit and being like, let me just, lead by example and let them see the kind of work I'm doing, even when my time is done. And so I'm trying to find that right line. Cause again, I'm, at the end of the day, I'm like, man, you could really do something with this, but at the end of the day, it has to be you that wants to do it, And so he's if I tell him, let's go to the court and shoot around or go work on our game, he's not going to, deny that. He would go do it. Absolutely. But he's not at that point where I'm going down to say, hey, do you want to go? And I'm like, where is he at? Oh, he's already on the court. You know,
Right.
He's not out there on his own in a sense. Whereas my daughter, she's her tenacity, her perseverance, she locks into something. She's going to work on it, whether I'm there or not, and so, that's been kind of a fun time, but she's also starting to get into that phase of a little bit of, attitude and, and so it's like, at one point it was like, oh, she's got it. I can pour into her and she's going to want to eat it up. And now it's a little bit like, I know what I'm doing a little bit, or if I say something to her, it's kind of the side eye. So it's kind of ebbs and flows, man, and then my youngest is kind of like, we bump heads to the point of I can't coach him yet. Last year, I was coaching both the oldest, so it's already hard anyway to coach more than one team. So, 3 was impossible. So it was kind of like, he's just getting introduced. I'm going to, let him, find his way a little bit. And that'll probably be the case this year as I'm kind of weaning out of coaching my 8th grader once he moves into high school. So right now it's a dynamic. I literally have to change kind of the perspective for each individual one, man. It's tough.
So do you get to, I guess you see the levels, so your oldest has already gone through levels of coaching, and then you see the next one coming up. You're like, all right, you're about to hit this little stage in your game and whatnot. And you could apply some techniques to that, or are they all just totally different where you just got to.
That's the thing. It's so hard. Like I said, like my oldest has the, he has the build, he has the feet. I mean, he's a giant in the sense of his age. I mean, he's in 8th grade, but he's a young 8th grader, just turned 13, almost 6 foot, 160, and so he's for his age, he's huge. Again, but it's like even little things of like starting to work out. And I'm like, dude, I compare him to myself when I was 13. I was, again, you sneeze and I'm flying down the street, I was a rail, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, dude, you got the frame to like go get in the gym for the next 6 months and you'd be that, baby LeBron in a sense, whereas my daughter is, she's on the smaller side yet, in terms of, she hasn't grown much. She's a small 9-year-old. But in her mind, she's 10 feet tall, you can't tell her otherwise, where it's like, so it's different. The way I got to come at them differently is so the way I'm coaching her is different than how I coached him. And I'm sure it'll be different than, the next one down. So I had to realize that pretty quickly, that I can't come at them the same way. Just like parenting, you can't necessarily, parent or come at kids a certain the same way, because it's not cookie cutter for sure.
Yeah. Do you have like a overarching philosophy for your coaching style and or your parenting style that helps guide you to that, can kind of link them all together so there's like a common thread?
Yeah, I mean, I would think I'm pretty low key in the sense of I'm not the again, for me personally, it's all about example. Like, again, I think that speaks loudly when the way you walk and the way you carry yourself. And, so I would think a lot of it is that, like, I try to, especially with the coaching, because again, I'm dealing with other people's kids and I know parents are watching, and not that I'm doing it for that reason, but I get a lot of my compliments are that of like, man, the patience you bring to the table, the effort you put in to help the kids, even when things aren't going well, you're always cool, calm, and collective. I'd say that's for the most part in the household as well. Now, I think that one difference is, and my wife would probably say that is, my patience level is pretty short in the sense of, I have a little bit shorter, with my kids, because it's just like, I think maybe it's just a higher expectation, the feeling that I can, I can, speak my mind wholeheartedly to them a little bit. And so, it's something to grow on, because again, it's, I never want to be, unpredictable with my kids too. It's like, you can get the certain tone in the voice, and they kind of know, but for me, it's more of just like with coaching. One of my biggest pet peeve in coaching and instructing and training is when you're trying to, explain something and the kids are in the back talking, they're not listening. And it's like my biggest no is, just that respect. And it's kind of the same in the house. It's like, I only want to have to say it once. And then it's kind of like when I have to repeat it, or they're kind of doing the opposite, that's when that, that fuse from, cool, calm, and collective is, that patience level is short, and so it's kind of very similar, coaching and parenting. I think just the difference is I have that they're my kids and I can, discipline a little different and maybe whether right or wrong, lash out a little bit every once in a while without the spillover,
Right. One thing that I always tell my wife, and she's probably listening right now and she gets annoyed because she hears it so much. I always tell her, like, he's not going to be disciplined if you're not disciplined. Like, their discipline comes from you, and that's how that's what I believe, and that's how I teach them. So, meaning, if I tell them something, then I got to be disciplined in my application of that, and I got to be disciplined in how I administer that, and when I'm reprimanding or when I'm encouraging. So it can't be wishy-washy. I can't say, oh, if you don't do XYZ, then I'm a take the Xbox away or whatever it is, and then not do it, because that's not being disciplined. So it's like, once you instill that discipline, then they have that discipline. I feel like that has carried me. Now he's only 2, so I don't know. Everything changes like every 6 months. I'm like, yeah, I got this. Discipline is, and then 6 months later, he's doing something totally different, and it's like, okay, well, that's out the window. But
no, I think you hit the head. Whatever the form of discipline is, like you said, it has to be consistent. I mean, again, everybody has their different way of disciplining, but again, like you said, I think you hit that. It has to be consistent, because again, if it gets to the point where you say you're going to do something and you don't, they're just going to laugh at you, maybe under their breath, but it's like, oh, he's not going to do anything, or so.
I think they take like mental notes. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I got you that time, Dad. All right, I'm gonna come back to that. They circle back on you.
They are smart for sure.
They spin the block on you on your discipline methods. What's it like, Coach? Because I keep going back to my one experience. Although I do have a keychain. I went 13-0, which is hard to do. You know what I mean, with these kids. So that's like one of my crowning achievements in life. Anybody who asks me about, I'm like, yeah, I coach a couple years. I had a 13-0 season. I don't tell them about the fact that I also had a season where we didn't win a game. So I've had like the highest and the lowest form. You know what I mean? Like both of them. But was it like coaching other people's kids? Because when I was coaching, I didn't have any kids. So everything I was doing was for the love. You know what I mean? Like, for the love of the game, for the love of getting these kids, together. But now you have like kids of your own, and you're coaching other people's kids. What's that mixture like?
Yeah, man. And again, so kind of 2 parts, right? So coaching, like the rec season from the kids is kind of different than my training program. Yeah. And so I think I had to kind of compartmentalize that as well. So like coaching, right, that's me volunteering. Like I said, obviously I'm trying to help develop and again, I try to lay expectations for them at practice and things like that. And again, for the most part, it's, I've been fortunate. For the most part, I haven't had any of the disgruntled parents, and, especially at the rec level, where, you get some of these horror stories of, parents and coming at you for playing time, or
man, I got you. I can talk about it. And
exactly. So I've been pretty fortunate. Even my first, even prior to my kids playing, I initially started coaching an 8th grade team. It was kind of when I was first starting my business, trying to get in that circle of, training and getting my name out there a little bit. And so, in fact, Nick, that's why I know if we're not allowed to say names and stuff on here, but, T's son, they were the first kind of people I started training with. And then their team, I coached his middle school team. Mm-hmm. And you talked about the win list. I think I coached 2 years and we won 1 game in 2 years, and it was a humbling experience.
Yeah, it is.
But that was where it was kind of like, man, the way you coached and you handled it, and when things weren't going well, and your patience, and it actually helped propel my training business, because people wanted to get me, hey, can you do some stuff individually? So the coaching side, like I said, I think was different in the sense of I've been fortunate to not have too many run-ins there. The training side was a little bit of a challenge because, I live in an area that's pretty affluent, and, and so I was having a hard time kind of starting my business, again, building that credibility. It was like, I was almost like in that stage of, hey, come, I was begging people, come train with me, right. And I was getting, honestly, and then so because of that, my rates were pretty low in the sense of what they could have been, and I started realizing pretty quickly that I was like, man, I'm cheaper than babysitters, man. Some of these kids have no interest in basketball. These parents are just like, hey, I can get them out there and be active, and you know, and so there was this point of like, I'm over here like, it was the longest hour in my life, you know, because these kids didn't want to be there, you know, and I'm at the same time, I'm trying to build up a, you know, portfolio and things.
Right.
So there was that point of just, you know, how I treated that was a little, you know, I guess as I started really gaining confidence and building a true portfolio, it allowed me to, number one, kind of raise my rate to a point of it weeded out the people that were just throwing their kids in there to, you know, it's cheaper than after school care and all, whatever. And then it also, I obviously started bringing people who really wanted to do it, you know, and then that also allowed me to hold those kids accountable, hold the parent, you know, have conversations with the parents of like, look, your kid's not, like you mentioned earlier, I can tell when a kid is not, they're only touching the basketball when we're on the court. And then the next 6 days, they're not doing anything. It's like, and, you know, so there got to that point where I could have those conversations of like, you're spending this money, your kid, you know, I don't know, have you had a conversation? Do they really want to do this? Because they're not putting in the work. My name is out there now. Because if you're doing it, I want you to get better so that when people say, hey, man, you've gotten so much better, how'd you do it? You know, oh, I've been working with Earl, or, you know, this program. So it was a lot of that where it was just like, you know, there was an expectation. Again, you're paying me, you know, there, you know, even now I have a lot of group training that I do. I kind of tiered a little bit away from the individual training, just economically, that same hour,
right,
you know, 10, 12 kids versus one, you know, and being busy and my own life stuff, it made sense to do a little bit more group stuff. And same thing, I get that mix of kids that are just there because their friends are doing it, or, you know, and so, man, there's times where I'm like, I'm stopping and I'm having these lectures, you know, and, you know, and then I was like, you know, it's like, it's not fair to the ones that want to be there. So then it's like, look, I'm getting paid whether you do this or not, you know, and I'm like, so then I really focused on the ones that want to do it. And the other ones, y'all can go in the back and mess around, or, you know, what have you. I'll have those conversations with parents when, you know, if it gets to that point. So it's a challenge.
I feel like when they're younger, the excitement of learning a new thing is what kind of propels them. But, you know, you get to a point in basketball where, you know, you're watching it, you know, your handle's pretty good, your shot's pretty good, where you feel like you don't need as much coaching. And that's where like mindset comes in, you know, and then you get that right around like middle school going into high school, because they, you know, that like you're saying, like I already know this. I don't need to, you know, do this drill again. I want to do the shooting or the drill that I want to do. And if I'm not doing it, I'm going to, you know, goof off or do whatever. But that's where this is the part that I liked about coaching, was when I could talk to the kids about mindset and how to instill mindset in what they do. And I don't know if like when I was doing it, one thing that I would do is every practice I have a word for the day. Right. And, you know, it'd just be one word, and like, all right, that's what we're focusing on today. Today, the word is focus, or, you know, today's word is determination, and everything you see you do, you know, you put that in there. And then at the end of the season, I came back and I had all the words. So it looks like coaches put, you know, effort into it, you know. So I had all the words, and I was like, listen, focus, determination, and went down the list of all the words that we had throughout practice. I was like, if you take all of those words and apply them to anything that you do, you're going to be successful, whether it's basketball or not. And the kids were like, wow, you know, like they were like very excited about it. But I was also excited to like give them that lesson, because I don't know what kid is going to keep playing basketball or whatever, but I do know that they will remember that one season, mostly because we were undefeated, but they will remember that one season as like, coach really, you know what I mean? You know, instilled something for me. And I'll see some of them, they still like play basketball to this day or whatever, and they're, you know, happy about it. I don't know if they attribute the success to me. They don't have to, but, you know, I mean, I will attribute it. We know what happened. But that's just like cool. Like I like the really lesson part of it, you know, the mindset part of it, to instill in them.
Yeah, you said it, like you said, and like I said, I'm coaching middle school now, and so this will be my third year coaching this team, right? So my son's 6th grade, 7th grade, and now he's in 8th grade. So coaching this group, me and my coaching partner, It's funny. Sixth grade, they were hungry. They were excited to make that team, kind of absorbing it all. It's like they couldn't wait to learn. Seventh grade last year was challenging. It was like we just couldn't, we were a pretty good team, won the middle school championship, sixth grade. So then they're kind of feeling themselves in seventh grade. And it's like there was an expectation to win it again. But it was. And then it's also like now they're throw the girls in and the social and all the other things where you could see the ones that are starting to get a little distracted and basketball wasn't their priority, or like I said, they're starting to get into that I know it all and I don't need to listen. So it'll be interesting to see this eighth grade year. I have a feeling it'll hopefully turn back around to they know what the whole social, they know how to manage it a little bit, but they also realize that high school's coming, so maybe I do need to lock in a little bit more and listen, because I think that's going to be, like you said, a lot of it this year's our focus is going to be on mindset of, what you're doing now, what you were doing last year impacts the next couple of years, especially if your goal is to make your high school teams and maybe beyond or whatever. So mindset is a huge thing. And again, it's hard. It's easy from this side of things to talk to them about it, but it's hard to get them in that moment to realize kind of their decisions and how they think about things and go through things, how they're going to impact.
Here's the thing is, when you're young, everything seems so far and unattainable, right? And it's just when you're older, you realize how attainable it was if you would have done X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? Like it just took like a little bit more effort or whatever. But it's so hard to get the kids to like see that, like, hey, like you're saying with your son, it's like, yo, listen, if you get into you're going to be able to write your own ticket. Like right now, if you get into the gym for one summer, that could carry you, and like people are going to see you and it's going to carry you for like a long time. And it's hard to like instill that it just takes a little bit up front. Like it's going to be extra effort, maybe not a little bit, but it takes a little extra effort right now. And then boom, they can't see that. They can't see the vision that you have in the the past, the history that you've had, where you like, man, I seen some really talented people just kind of fade away because they didn't work at it. You know what I mean? When hard work meets talent, if talent doesn't work hard work wins, or whatever the saying. That was terrible. That was like that was a Bushism right there.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
There we go. There it is. See, coach, you know what I mean? This is why I need to get back into it, because I'm messing up my like I like the old Southern sayings, you know what I mean? That coaches have that are like, damn, that makes sense.
That boy good.
That boy good. I just like telling this story, and I just want to tell you. So when I was coaching the girls team, they had this thing, because they're young. They had this thing where if they get bumped, they would cry. They would like fall down and like cry a lot. So, as a coach, the first thing I would be like, all right, let me check, make sure they're not injured. And they wouldn't be injured. It's just like, they got jostled and, so they're like crying or whatever. So I would just come up to them. They're not hurt. And I'd be like, all right, I don't mind if you stay down here and cry, but I'm going to grab my little tear cup and I'm just going to collect the tears. And then after practice, you just have to drink it. Okay. And then they would always like stop, like they would be like, and they would stop and look up at me like, what? And it would just break the cycle. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, now I'm up. And then they're ready to so I would say that, and they would hear me say that all practice. That's and then hilarious. At the end of the season, let me get this. Hold on, wait. Let me get this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, look at this. At the end of the season, they bought me a tear, my goodness. And they gave this to me. When I tell you, coach was trying to hold it together, and I was like, and they were like, coach, put him in the tear cup.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
But it was that was one of the things that I did for mindset, because you got to get out of that mindset of like, oh, I got bumped, I got to cry. And now that's like something that they that was a great moment when they gave me that cup. I was like, oh, right,
because it made an impact, man. They heard you.
Because I think I just say things and people are ignoring them, but apparently somebody was listening along the way.
Exactly.
All right, so check it out. Here at the BlerdDad Podcast, we always like to ask the blerding question. And the blerding question is, what do you like to nerd out about? So somebody asks you something, what can you talk ad nauseum about? What is the thing you nerd out about the most?
See, I mean, this. I mean, I'm a simple, like I really am super simple in terms of life. It's like I'm a homebody. And it's like hoops is kind of the thing, sports in general, but
Right.
yeah, I'm not, I'm kind of getting, I'll do the video games here and there. The kids are getting into them a little bit, but I'm like, so, again, if we talking or 90s R&B, that's about it. Maybe that, maybe that 90s R&B
What?
or hoops, man. Those are the things that I can like,
What are you talking about?
out.
Jodeci or Boys to Men? What are we?
All of it, man. I mean, again, you name it. Again, it's I mean, it's still in the the Spotify playlist. You make it, it's like back in the day, you made your own mixtapes.
Right.
Now, obviously, we have, I can go ahead and just download them into the Spotify playlist. So, that's probably the, like I said, when you say nerd out, those are, obviously, this is the stuff that I'm.
Who's your go-to? Who's the one?
I mean, back in the day, yeah, it was definitely Boys. I mean, Boys the Men was, me and my boys, we were in the talent show 2 years in a row, singing Boys the Men.
Motown Philly back again.
Little known fact. We did, it was, you couldn't do the upbeat, it was all about the, getting us that stage of realizing there were girls and things like that. So, it was,
y'all were trying to harmonize.
Absolutely. End of the road. We had the starter jackets on. It was true 90s, and it was in it. So we were in the thick of it back then too. So
wait, can you sing? Do you got pipes?
Nah. I mean, nah. I can carry a tune, yeah. Let's put, but nothing that I'm, it's that closet talent, if you will.
Right. No, I got you got it in the shower.
Nobody's telling me to stop singing, but nobody's saying, hey, can you sing for me? I'm in that middle.
Like you got about one song. They're like, all right, cool. And if you try to go with another one, it's like, I think we're good.
Right.
So. If I was in the group, I just want to be the dude who talks at the beginning. Like that's my like, girl, we've been waiting all day to sing this song. And we can't wait. That's me. That's the part, because I cannot carry a tune. It sounds good in my head. There's something that happens from the vocal box, you know what I mean, when it hits my ears to when it goes out to the world, that it's not hitting the same way.
But that was the coolest dude in the group. Honestly, that was the coolest dude.
Was that no, that wasn't Wanye.
Nah, that was Michael with the cane. Michael, he was the one with the bass. Everybody had that one guy, right?
Yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta have the one who could say the sweet nothings and get the song kicked off. Talk real slow so that then you could bust in. We're like, oh. See, when I try to do that, they're like, don't do the just do the talk. Just talk at the beginning. That's all. That's all we need from you. Hey, I do have a question though about like how coaching has changed. And with technology, because before, you basically shooting your own shots, you almost like writing it down on a piece of paper, like how many you hit. And now they have like shot charts. They got like the little return basketball thing. How's coaching changed with technology?
Hey, listen, I think I think it can be good, just like everything, right? I think, again, we talked about some of my pet peeves. I think this generation as a whole, now, again, there's always those, obviously, the talent level and the skill level now compared to when I was coming up. And, it's crazy, so I'm not, I want to put that everybody in that box. But in general, man, everything is so laid out and handed, to the kids in the sense. I'll give you a quick story, kind of unrelated to the technology, but I'll get back to it. Is I just had a group training a week ago or whatever, and typically we do some skills stuff, we do some team stuff, and then like the last 15 minutes or so, we do scrimmage 5v5. And this particular night, we only had nine kids, and they're middle school into high school, so they can kind of handle themselves. So I end up playing with them, and typically I'm kind of referee and things, and just I'm just keeping kids from killing themselves, basically. But I'm typically referee, but of course, they needed that 10, so I went ahead and played with them. And we're up and down the court, and before we got started, I'm like, park rules. That's kind of what I said. I was like, park rules. went about my business. We're playing up and down the court a couple different times. Kids are getting fouled, and they're like looking like, coach, like foul. And I'm like running down the floor. And finally, I was like, stop. I was like, fellas, I was like, I apologize. And they're like, what? I was like, I assumed y'all knew what park rules were. I was like, but none of y'all play in the park. Kids don't play outside in the park. It's like they have to have the best basketball, the best plus gym, and floor has to be swept. And so when I'm saying park rules, meaning call your own fouls, and they had no clue what that was. So I was like, I gotta apologize. I made a wrong assumption. I say all that to say things are so handed, you know what I mean? And so even that, like the machine that hits the ball back, that the Dr. Dish or whatever, it's like, it's great if somebody is truly going to use that thing and go out there and get their reps versus the guy that's it's collecting dust, or they're using it and they're still going half speed and still getting up the same amount of shots as the guy that's out on his own getting his own rebound. It can be great. they have the apps, like you said, you can put the phone up and literally it can watch your shot. It'll give you like arc and angles. It'll keep your makes and misses. I'm like, again, if you're going to, just like anything, if you're going to use the tools, they have that dribble, the ball that you can, set up the screen, and it'll basically give you, workouts to mimic. And so all of it is fantastic, if you're going to use it the right way and maximize it. I just don't know that, I don't know how many are, in the sense of it's just the next cool thing. So it's definitely changing it, from a coaching perspective, obviously being able to, watch game film and, the time it takes to edit the film versus back in the day with the VHS and so obviously even that, even getting into recruiting and all that stuff, which I'm not involved in, but I'd have to think, being able to, have, look at somebody's social media or have them send, something straight from their phone. There's a lot more access, a lot more, right there at the, right there, at the, in the palm of your hands that you can get. That is a benefit if it's being used the right way, for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about your like park rules, and they're probably looking at you like, yeah, coach, all right, cool, park rules, like, like I just think you a surfer dude or something, like,
right. Again, it's like I said, maybe it's where I'm living, and again, but it is. It's just it's a mentality, it's a mindset, and I'm just like. Yeah, this is not what it's really like out there, especially for you ones that are saying I'm trying to go, to the next level. It's like,
one of my pet peeves of when I was coaching especially with the kids, is they're always like looking for the foul or complaining about the foul, and I would just be like, look, you're getting fouled and you're not getting a call, so now what? And then you know what I mean, because it's just like it changes the mindset. And because the thing that I would hate is you're going to let one play beat you twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get fouled. You're going to be complaining about the foul. Meanwhile, they ran down and scored. You know what I mean? So how about we just play through it and not even worry about that? But that's hard to get them instilled. But there are some, the player who is the worst or that you hate going against are the ones who like don't care if you foul them. Like they're just going through what you're doing and still scoring. That's the most annoying. The people who get upset about the fouls, it's like, oh, I'm in their head. Okay, I'm gonna foul them, and then now they out of it. Now they can't make their shot because they're expecting the foul. And it messes all up. Mindset.
You just said it. And you just said it. That's what you're trying to get them to realize. Like if you just play through that, like you have a leg up on everybody. Like I said, number one, you're most guys that don't, like, if you're aggressive and going to the hole and not expecting fouls, you typically get those calls. Referees are gonna benefit the guy that's the aggressor and initiating contact and things like that. But again, the minute you start whining and crying about it, subconsciously, I know those officials are like, I'm not giving him the next call. Like, it is a mindset. I'm the same way. I'm like, if I give you a whistle, great. If not, I may have missed it, but a lot of times I'm purposely not calling it because I want you to toughen up and learn how to play through it. If you get it, great. Learn how to finish and get to the free throw line if they call it. If not, you play on. So it is definitely a mindset and it's a skill, honestly, to be able to, play through all that.
Yeah. So now I just gotta talk about, when we used to play together, you know what I mean? Because I had a certain skill set. Here's the thing. I was not the most talented ball player in terms of like raw athletic ability, but I think I had a great mindset and a great like kind of basketball IQ, which helped me be able, because there's no reason why I should have been on the court with, you know, D1 players like yourself and everybody that we were playing with Redskins and, you know, like professional athletes. And I'm out there just hooping the same, you know what I mean? The same way. And I'm like, I know I shouldn't be out here, but the fact that I, you know, had like the certain mindset and I'm like, all right, I know where to be on the court. So at least I'm not like a liability. I feel like that helped out a lot.
Yeah, and real quick, I do got to just correct you. So I played D3, not D1. However, I think I had a D1 game. I just didn't. I didn't have the right. You know, the platform wasn't there for me, I guess, to be found in the sense. So definitely D1 game. I think even now I could probably find my way on a couple of teams.
You're D1 in my heart. You're D1 in my heart.
But I just wanted to put that out there. But even then, you talk nowadays, the differences. It's, you know, there's D3 guys that are in the league right now and all that. So sure. I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh no, my bad.
Just, you know, again, so yeah, but no, I mean, again, I don't know what we can and can't do, but the gym we were at, let's just put it that way. It had a mix, right? For sure. I think, you know, for me, it was an outlet. It was great to, you know, have work and then go out and hoop and unwind and, you know, compete, but have fun. And, you know what I mean? It was a great mix of workout, you know, the clown sessions, all that stuff, all in, you know, it was that great outlet in a sense. So, again, I think, you know, even the guy that would consider himself the best guy in the gym had his moments where he wasn't, you know, and vice versa. So it is regardless of whether guys got clowned on or got, you know, cooked that day, you know, you come back the next day and it's a reset, you know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, it built I mean, again, you know, your relationships. Yeah, there's still guys that, you know, some of the main guys I still connect with here are from that that gym. You know,
was a special time. I feel like that was a special time, like in our lives, in terms of how competitive. Like we used to get off after work, like ready. You know what I mean? The list would be like 20 people deep, and you know, it's like, who am I going to be on with? Like I'll be at work thinking about like how I'm gonna cross over XYZ or how I got to defend. Like, you know, I'm over here doing film sessions in my head while I'm at work, missing meetings, trying to figure out. All right, how I'm gonna guard Earl. Like if I get on him, how am I?
Right. Hey, but that, like you said, it's why we showed up, man. You know, and then you get the new guys that show up, and you know, and it's kind of like, oh, he's in trouble, or he doesn't know what he's getting. You know, right? Or again, it's funny. You see these videos of like, you never seen those the videos where they're like this hooper, the guy that always called the foul, or the guy that you know what I mean. And it's like we had all those. I always see these YouTube videos of this, you know, that sport, and this is the guy that was whatever the description was, and they had 10 of them. And I'm like, literally, I can name every one of them guys from our hoop sessions, you know? And so again, it's like you said, it's memories, man. It's, you know, relationships that were built. It's just, it was a cool time, you know, for
Did you see one, I guess I won't, well, he went viral. Remember Brandon from the, like he went viral.
I was just about to say, and I thought of that when you were talking, I forgot. I was like, I still see memories that pop up like on Facebook from whenever, and then I like read the comments and I see guy like Rob or, you know, like comments and guys talking trash in the comments. And I did see that literally like a couple weeks ago. It popped up on my, because they must have tagged me in it. And hilarious, man.
Went viral for like I guess it was like calling fouls or something, like I forget what it was.
The guy, a kid, I think apparently he fouled the guy. I wasn't there that day, but he fouled the guy. And I don't know if they were arguing about it. The guy called the cops, and the cops showed up. And they like were videoing the cops like laughing, like, really, y'all call? Like, so it was like first person to ever get the cops called on for calling a foul.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You wish you could do that in the NBA. Sometimes, you know, when they call these extra texts, you'd be like, nah, get the cops in here.
Right. And of course, it was some guy who, I had never seen him in the gym, so it must have been some guy. It wasn't like a normal, you know, normal part of the group. That would be crazy if that happened. But just some guy that didn't like, didn't like getting fouled and didn't like getting the call, and said, I'm gonna call the law on you.
I gotta give you the shout out because you knew me you knew me in my before life when I was married last time, and then you know me now after the, you know what I mean, like the whole like second marriage. So you know me through two periods of my life, through the before times and the reinvention times, man. So
right.
shout out for that, man.
Nah, man. So what's next? Y'all gonna have more? Or?
Well, we have one, and I think I definitely want him to have a brother or a sibling. You know what I mean? Like another person to play around with, because number one, he's stressing us out without having someone else to take out all his energy on. You know what I mean? So I'm a little bit older. I can't be his roughhouse part, because he'll come straight off the top rope, just elbows jumping on me, knees. I'm like, come on, dad's old. Like, it's fun in games now, but you gonna hit me one time where my knee's not gonna bounce back or something. Which coincidentally is why I got to get back in the gym. But yes, I think we want to have another one, another couple, see how that works. And then, because I always wanted to have somebody, like, I don't know. Are you an only child, or you have brothers and sisters?
I have two younger sisters. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have sisters, like, that's a connection to your history. As a matter of fact, like, I was just talking to my sister the other day, and she brought up a story about in our childhood that I had forgot, and it just jogged my memory. And the thing is, when you're older and you don't have a sibling, you don't have like that connection to your child. Like, all those memories kind of go away, with your parent, like, because your parents get older, and you're not with them every day. But when you have that sibling, it's like you have a connection to your childhood that you don't necessarily have if you're an only child. So I don't want him to grow up being an only child, losing that connection and relying on my old memory to be like, Dad, remember? And I'm like, I don't remember.
Man. Nah, for sure, you need that, man. So that way you can officially be in the phase that we're in right now, which is the they're best friends one minute, then they're fighting the next. They're the phase of, I want that one thing that you have that I wasn't thinking about 10 minutes ago. You're sitting too close to me, don't touch me. But you have all this space on the couch while you're also next to each. So it's a fun stage, but you can't have that with just one, man.
Yeah, I know. You got to do it, man. I also got to give a shout out to you, because you have awesome wife. She's athletic and whatnot too, and I'm sure that helps a lot too, because there's times when you probably can't get with them, and then she can be like, all right, here's what you need to do, because she, you know what I mean, it's also athletic.
Mama's fierce, man. She's like, so you talk, I mean, in terms of the sports stuff, man, she's like, yeah, we were just talking about that. She was like, I don't think I could coach because I'm just too honest. I'm too hard. And it's like, and so we balance each other out. It's like, I think in my mind, that mentality is what I agree with, of just like but I'm like, babe, she's 9, he's 13. Like, it's like, that's like at the end of it, as much as we get on them and want them to do these things, I'm like, they are also, kids and still figuring it out. But she's like, nah, let's get it done, and so it's a good balance. But yeah, they I also, think they're fortunate that she's not coach,
right? But also, like, woman to woman, because as a male, I feel like, your little girl, you're like, all right, let me like back off, like, you don't know where that emotional line is, whereas women are like, nah, nah, you faking, like, I like I know what's up, don't even try it with me.
Yeah, nah, again, she's like you said, shout out to her for sure. She's like super supportive in all of it, and like I said, I think again she kind of balances those gaps that she fills those gaps that I don't have. And but yeah, I think it's I think, like, my daughter, the tenacity, the aggressiveness, she definitely gets it from her mom, man. And like I said, hopefully we can, like I said, at the end of the day, we're proud of them no matter what. But I think hopefully collectively we can help them reach their full potential, man. So
that's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about. All right, so tell us where people can find you, what they can look up if they want to get up with you, get some of those basketball skills, training skills, or get on the wait list, because now you're filling up, you're blowing up.
Yeah, nah, I'm an old head, man. I gotta get with the times with all the newest things going on. So I'm simply, Facebook and IG, at Prep B-Ball is my IG, and I think it's the
Okay.
same thing, Facebook/Prep B-Ball. And yeah, I mean, again, especially if you're in the local area, again, the group thing, what I found is, real quick plug, and like I said, I did kind of go away from the individual stuff. I still do it, but I'm also, like I said, I'm at that level where it's kind of, I'll do that stuff with more high school guys and things like that who really kind of need that, that individual stuff. I feel like the younger kids, what I did notice outside of what I mentioned about the economics of 1 versus 10 is that, when I was out there with a 10-year-old, man, everything looked good. They look like Steph Curry shooting, but where it's like they need to be in that environment, that stressful environment with their peers and putting that stuff to use. So I'm seeing that, the group stuff that we're doing is what I think is, the right approach, because they get the individual skill, they get the team stuff, and then we're like, all right, now go put it into 5v5, and they're really seeing where they're truly at, because out in the driveway or out in the wherever, everything looks good, and then all of a sudden they get on the court and they're just like, they freak out. So I'm definitely a big proponent of the group stuff right now, and obviously if people are interested, I'd push them to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, shoot. So obviously we'll pump y'all here. If you need ad packages, let us know. You know what I mean? If you need social media done, holler at us. Level Up Comedy Production Band. We do that too. So we can make sure that you get the word out to the people that they got some elite level training out in Leesburg. Is that the area?
Leesburg. Yep.
Yeah. So we could push people towards you, but we definitely need people to come out and see you, because you're listen, you're like I said, you're D1 in my heart. You know what I mean? You could have fooled me, because I was like, nah, that jumper is definitely not D. That's a D1 jumper right there. That it coming through the land.
Again, it's a mindset. If I know what I knew now, let's just put it that way, But
right.
And that's why, again, you try to pass that along to the next ones. But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, you're getting to live through all these kids, though. You know what I mean? To hopefully aspire to and get that dream. And I just think that's so awesome and necessary in our society now. Like people like yourself who have the knowledge, giving it to the kids and help teaching them the right way. You know what I mean? I saw that you have like a lot of faith infused in like what you do, and really making sure that kids know, like, hey, you know what I mean? We're doing something with a goal in mind, and we're trying to reach that goal, and we're going to do it in the the most wholesome way possible. So I commend you, man. Hats off to you. Salute to you. I think it's dope. That's why I was super excited to have you on here, and I can't wait to see what you do next. I can't wait to see you at the next holiday party or whatever, man.
Absolutely, man. Again, I appreciate it. I appreciate you linking back with me and making sure we made this happen. So
yeah.
All the best to you, man, with all the stuff you got going on too. Like I said,
I'm trying to do it. Listen, if Kevin Hart wants to come on here, I don't know if you saw he had these interviews with this other people. Like if he wants to come on here and talk through things, I'm with it. I'm waiting. I can't wait to do that, because we all got to start somewhere. Like you were saying with the training, like you started and you're trying to like get it, and now you got like an influx of people where you got like too many people, and I'm trying to get the same way where we're just getting eyeballs flooded, because I think this is a good platform. I really wanted to make sure that we do something, because there's like a stereotype of like Black fathers being absent or whatever, and I want that, like all the Black fathers that I know are like yourself, you know what I mean, like me, like very involved, like we're it's a stereotype that isn't true. So this is just a platform that can help push that message versus the stereotypical message that I think is false. So
I appreciate you, man. Well, again, I don't know him, but if there's some way that those 6 degrees of separation meets and we can make that happen, man, all the best, man. You never know. You put it out there, got to put it. That's where it starts. Put it out there, man.
Put it out into the universe. Next thing you know, that would be crazy. All right, man. We went through the whole game. We talked about my basketball skills. We talked about your basketball skills. Talked about coaching. Talked about other people's kids coaching. We ran the gamut today. Great episode. And I guess there's nothing left to say now, but blerd that out.